Hi all, welcome to Supercoders. So in this tutorial, we are going to work with our purchase order. So basically, first we can create API for purchase order. In that, we can get the form fields which is required for getting the purchase order form. Then we can save the data in the purchase order API. After that, we can create a purchase order component in frontend. We can render the field of our API, the frontend application. There we can create a purchase order form. After that, we can utilize our common component, or you can say other component like users and product to select the users and select the products in this purchase order component. After that, we can save this form data completely to our API. So we're going to do all this thing in this tutorial. So it is complete flow of creating the purchase order. So let's get started and let's work on this tutorial. And also, if you are new to channel, please like our video and please subscribe our channel. And if you have any question, please do comment. Now let's get started. So first, let's correct this purchase order URL. So come into my project and come into the module section. And here we can see the module URL is create PO. So I'm changing it to slash create slash PO. Enter. Now refresh the app. Click on purchase order, create purchase order. And right now we don't have any page. That's why it is giving me 404. So let's create an empty component for now, or just let's work on the backend side first. Then we will do the integration in the front end. So first, what we can do, we can create a API for our backend side. So coming back to my VS Code and open the backend, and let's create an API for purchase order. So here, what I can do, I'm just going to use my dynamic form to render. I'm using my dynamic form methods to create the form fields for our purchase order. Right now, just come into my order services and let's create a file urs.py. urs.py. After that, giving the URL patterns. So URL patterns equal to, then giving the path purchase order slash and linking with a controller. So let's create the controller also. So order services, creating a folder, controller, creating a new file, purchase order controller.py. Let's create the class create purchase order view using generics dot create API view. Let's import this generic API view. So from REST framework import generics. After that, here setting, I'm gonna setting my permission class in authentication class. So authentication classes equal to JWT authentication. Then we need to use the permission classes is authenticated. Import these two also. So from REST framework permission is authenticated, and also import the JWT authentication. So from REST framework simple authentication, JWT authentication. After that, getting the method define get and using self request. For now, just return a simple message. So return render response, port it, correct the path, and giving data equal to PO fields, then PO item fields. Right now I'm just giving the only blank array, but later I will pass the fields also. Then message purchase order fields status 200. Now save this API. Let's link with our URLs. So here create purchase order view as underscore view, then name equal to purchase underscore order. Let's import it. I'll change the path. It should be order services dot controller purchase order view. Then from Django dot URLs import path. Now save this file and let's include this file in our main folder or main project urls.py. So coming to the project level e-commerce, open URLs and here let's add it. Here giving path API / orders, then order services order service dot URLs. Now save this file and let's check it's working or not. So coming to the Postman and first try to log in the API. Login. Now try to hit the purchase order API, duplicate tab. Now let's change the API URL. So just coming back to my project using orders, then changing this to /purchase order. Now click get, click on send. Now I'm getting the fields, but right now it is empty, but our API is working. After that, let's try to render the fields. So here, how can we get the fields? So instead of that, we can use the simple our model name and render the fields. But the second approach we can use, or we can utilize our common code which we create to get the dynamic form fields. So if you remember last time, I already created a method for get dynamic form fields. This one. So here we can simply pass our model instance, then we can get all the fields which is required in our form. So let's try it. Just use this common code for rendering the fields. I can't use purchase order in dynamic form just because it is having multiple table, or you can say multiple model we can use, like purchase order as purchase order and purchase order item and purchase order log. So we can't save all this data. So for that, I'm just going to do what? I'm going to create a separate view or URLs. There we can use this get dynamic form. There we can use get dynamic form fields and render our form fields to the front end application. Right now we need to return the form fields for our purchase order. So what I can do, just simply copy this method name and coming to the purchase controller, and here PO fields, calling the method and passing the purchase order instance. So here simply add purchase order. Let's import this model. Select the path. So it will be coming from the model, this purchase order. Just copy this and pass it here as a empty method. Then we need to pass our domain user ID, I think. Let me check. Let's import this also. Let me check what we need to pass. We need to pass our domain user ID. So just pass it. Also checking one more thing. Domain user ID. Domain user ID. So we can just pass our domain user ID, which is request.user.domain underscore user underscore ID dot ID. Now just copy this and pass it here. Save it and let's check and do what? Just copying the URL again, purchase order. So duplicate tab, change this to orders, then purchase order, remove this, get, click on send, and I can get all the fields of my data. You can see PO fields, which has text, PO code, PO date, expected delivery date, total amount, all the things I can get for my model, and that is working fine. Next, we need to render the field of PO item fields. So what I can do, come to VS Code. This time, I am going to return. I am going to return the item fields. So PO item fields, create dynamic form model, purchase order item. Let's check this model item. So this is like I think purchase order items. Copy it, paste it, import it. Now save it, and let's check one more thing. I think I can get this value here or not. Let me confirm. Print request dot user domain user ID. Save it. View terminal. Click on Postman. Send. Here, if I see the first one, data is turning or not. So I can get the ID. That is fine. So I'll remove this print and let's check this error. So I'm getting this error because I didn't set a default name for the PO, just like earlier we have to do. So we need to add a default key. Define default key return PO underscore code. Save it. You can check this thing earlier also I added in the product services in the models. Here if you see default key. So I already added this one because this you can use as a reference data when working with reference data. Now save it and let's check again. Click on send and here we go. It's working fine. And if I check, I can get the PO fields and the below one I can get the I can get the other fields also, like PO item fields. You can see here if I see the PO item fields, I can see it now. After that, I have to do one more thing. I have to skip some fields, or you can say skip some values for the LOB things. Like I don't want user data here because that will gonna, like I want to use supplier, but I don't want to supplier render as a LOB. That we can use a separate model because I have lost lots of supplier, so I don't want to render in LOB. That will take lots of time. So instead of that, we can do some different approach. So what I can do, I will just return as a text for supplier. Same way, I have other things like product ID. Here, if you see in the product ID, it is returning all the products. That what I don't want, because if I return all the products, it will get lots of time and increase our loading time. So instead of loading the product ID just like this way, we will use a different approach. So let me show you how you can do this. So for that, come to this code. Let's close it, and we have to enhance our helper method for dynamic model. Here I need to add something like we can say skip related. I don't want the data relation related data, you can say. And also I want some field to be skipped, so adding skip fields, and also adding the here condition or field dot name in skip fields. There we can continue and skip this field, and after that here the logic for the foreign key, if field dot name in skip related, there we go. Here we need to skip some field, so for that what I can do, field dot field text dot append field data, and simply continue the loop. So I can skip that things which I don't want the relation data. Now save it, come to the purchase order controller. Here we need to pass some data. So like I don't want the product ID in the PO item fields. So here what I can do, skip rated equal to array and passing the field which I don't want the relation data product ID. Now save it, back to Postman, click on send, review line number 67. Let me check. It should be fields, not field. It should be fields because we are appending data in fields. I think, yeah, fields. Save it, back to Postman, click on send. Now if I see again, this time if I pass product ID, I can see as a text field, not as a select field, and there is no LOV because I don't want to render the LOV here. After that we need to do for the supplier also. So supplier underscore ID. Here I don't want to return the user, so just skip that also. So here product ID, then supplier ID. Supplier underscore ID. Save it, back to Postman, click on send. Let's check again. Okay, it should be in the PO, not a PO item. So cut it. It should be go here. Skip related equal to supplier ID. Click on send. Click on send again. If I pass supplier ID, you can see now supplier ID don't have the LOV options, that I can skip. Now after that we don't need some fields here, like I don't want field like shipping cancel text amount right now, because that we can do in the purchase order approve page or purchase order edit page, not in the purchase order creation page. So skip these fields. So what I can do here, adding skip fields, and here I'm going to skipping the field shipping cancel amount. Discount type, that is also okay, but in the discount type I need also one more field which is no discount. So let's add this right now. Later I think we forget. So purchase order amount, add also option no discount, no discount, and use this as a default value. And also here in this status, adding two more status, draft, then approved, approved. Then I'm also adding draft, approved, and I think that is sent is okay. So it will be draft, then approved. Save it, After that, next I have to skip the field, which is shipping type is okay. Status is also I don't need it. I don't need the status, I think, because status I can pass it as a button click. So leave it. Next I have approved by user ID. Skip that field also. Next. Now I think it has been done. Now save it and let's take it again. Click on sand. Click on sand again. And here we go. You can get all the fields which is required and other things are get removed. Also, let's do some changes in the model. So what I can do, I have to do some changes in the model. So in the model, first, what I can do, I need to make this warehouse ID and supplier ID mandatory. So remove this blank to null true. Remove it. So remove it here, blank to null true in the supplier ID. Then after that, what I can do in the due amount, in the due amount, here due amount, add some default value. Default 0. Also in the discount amount, default 0. Now save this file and run the magazine command. So view, terminal, then run the magazine command. Python manage.py, make mechanisms. Use the option second. Use the option second. Second. Now run the magnet command. I have some data. That's why it is giving some error. So let's clear the data. First, coming to the purchase order. Empty this table. Purchase order items. Empty this table also. Then purchase order logs. Purchase order logs. Empty this table also. Now run the magazine command again. Now it's done. Our migration done successfully. So there is some data, that's why it is giving some error. Now it is fine. After that, also here do one more thing. If I come to the Postman and if I see some other date field like underscore at, or I can say stream it. Let me check. PO date, you can see PO date, then delivery date. These are all the date fields, but I'm using the text. So what I can do, I'm gonna adding one additional key here to understand that it is text, but as a date field. So what I can do, the helper method here after checkbox elif field dot get internal type uh, date field elif if date time field. So I'm gonna create two important things, date field and date time field. Here what I can do using the same thing as a text, but I'm also giving a more attribute, which is date, make it true, true. Same way, copy this thing, paste it here, make it text, but this time it's date time true. Now save it back to Postman, click on send, and here if I see right now, I can see the PO date is date time true, delivery date is date time true. So I can use this attribute to make the text field with the option of date time. So that is also working fine now. After that, let's create the post API. So for that, just come to your controller and you're going to create some serializer, because for saving the data, we need some serializer. So first, I'm going to create serializer for purchase order items. So class purchase order item serializers. Then using serializer dot model serializer. Let's import the model serializer. So from REST framework import serializer. It should be serializer dot model serializer. After that, adding class meta, then using our model equal to purchase order items and adding fields equal to all the fields. Next, we need to create a again serializer for purchase order. So class purchase order serializer, then class meta fields all purchase order. Then we need to define a create method. So earlier we can use the API to getting the data, but right now in the API I'm going to use serializer to getting the data, so we can override the data exactly and use that data to do our custom logic. Right now, using define create self validated data. After that, we need to get our PO items. So here what I can do, items equal to purchase order item serializer many true, and adding source. So source will be our, let me show where is the source. So source is our relational data key name. This is the source. PO ID, purchase item, order item. So use this key as a source. After that, we can do what? Items data equal to validate data dot pop PO item purchase order items. After that, for item data in items data, and we can use purchase order items dot objects dot create EOID, the validate data ID, and item data. We can use our data. Here was one thing missing. We need to add the ID from not from here. We need to use a purchase order here. Purchase order. So for that, what I can do, purchase order purchase order equal to purchase order dot objects dot create validated data. That is fine. Then we can create the purchase order items. Also, after that, all thing is perfect, I think. So simply return the purchase order. Return purchase order. After creation, return the purchase order. Now save it, and let's do this inside a post method. So coming back to the post method here, create a post method, define post self request, then here serializer equal to purchase order serializer data request for data, and here if serializer is valid, then save the serializer and return the message purchase order created successfully, or else return the error message error creating purchase order. Now save it and let's check it's working or not. So save it, back to Postman, copy this, duplicate tab, change this method to post, come into the body, and here just pass your parameters. So I can pass supplier ID as 1 right now, or pass it 3. I think 1 not exist, so passing 3, and PO code PO code 1 2 3, let's check what happened. So this is the error which we are getting. Additional field is required. So pass the additional field here. It's empty array. And here it is showing the PO ID is required, but PO ID will get from the item. Now send again. So do one thing here right now, make this thing PO ID as a null true or blank true. Null true equal to true. Now save it. Click on view, terminal, run the magazine command again. Then magnet command. Run the server again. Now test it. Back to Postman. click on send, and here we go. You can see our items and order has been created perfectly. You can see the items and you can see the PO. If I come to database, let's see the purchase order. I can see the purchase order, all details saved successfully. And if I see the purchase order items, I can see the purchase order items. But here is something missing which you need to fix it. Like if I come to purchase order, I don't have domain user ID. I think domain user ID is missing. We need to add it. Then created by user ID is missing. We need to add it. So let's add these two fields, created by and domain user ID. So let's add it. So back to VS Code. We need to add these two data. So what I can do here in the post method, let's use data equal to request data and pass the data here. After that, data dot update created by user ID equal to domain dot user ID. Then same way, domain underscore user dot ID. Also add one more thing, last updated by user ID. So last updated by user underscore ID. Here check this domain user ID dot ID. Now that is fine. After that, copy this thing and do in purchase order items also. So what I can do, just scroll up here in the purchase order items and to do these things also. So here item data, here change it item data, and here it should be coming from the validated data dot get created by user ID. And we copy this thing, paste it here and paste it also here. This time change to domain user ID. After that, all the thing has been done. Next, we need to add one more last thing, which is our logs. Right now, we didn't save our logs in the log table, purchase order log table. So what I can do, purchase order log equal to purchase order log. Let's import it. Let's see the model name first. Purchase order, purchase order logs, copy it, paste it, import it, then purchase order created by user ID and created by user ID. All the thing is perfect. Also added here status with status validated data dot get status. Now save it and also we need to pass our additional details here. So adding additional details like this way, array, then object, key, status, value, use validated data, validated data dot get status. Now that is perfect. After that, just save it, then value, and here it will be comment, I think. comment here, purchase order status. Okay, now save it and let's check. Back to Postman. Click on send again. I see. Okay. Purchase order item. Don't need this last update by ID. Remove it and save it. Click on send again. Click on send again. I see again. This right now we didn't pass the status, so let's pass the status also. I'm passing as a draft. Click on send again. Now I can see our item has been created. If I check, go to Chrome and check the log. Okay, I think I didn't save this method. Save. Now check it again. Click on send. Click on send. Back to Postman. Now it is working fine. I can successfully create a purchase order in the backend side. So our API is working with purchase order. Next, we need to work with our frontend for integrating all this API in the frontend panel. So let's do it also. So come into the project. Now after that, let's register our URLs in the frontend. So back to VS Code and closing all the backend code. Also save this API. So create order, save. And after that, back to VS Code and close this backend. In the front-end, open src app.js file. Let's add a route. So here, create PO and create purchase order. Let's copy this component, create a new page, purchase order, create a new file, create purchase order .js. Right now, return a simple message, create purchase order. Must create purchase order, return box quote default, get purchase order, then box again, display. Let's import this box, display equal to text, then justify content is between, adding breadcrumb, typography, create purchase order, home, change to body to, adding the divider, assets, MT2, MT1, MB1 for the divider, save it, back to Chrome, press page, and let's import it also here. So create purchase order, save it, back to Chrome, refresh page. Now you can see the create purchase order page. home, create purchase order. After that, here typography, purchase order details, purchase or product details. Save it back to Chrome. Okay, that is fine. Now let's enter the form of purchase order and enter the form of purchase order product item. So purchase order, products, adding a box. Also adding it here like a display flex, justify content space between, adding a button, content, add product. Now after that, save this file back to Chrome. Add product, that is fine. Let's create some state. So const error loading and call API, which is using from our use API. After that, const your fields, set flow fields, use state. Next, we have to create const PO item fields, set PO item fields. Now all the thing is perfect. Let's create two buttons, or let's leave this for now. Save this back to Chrome. Next, we need to complete this API. So const get form is equal to, make it async, const response await call API. URL, change this to orders, then purchase order. We don't need this method yet. Move it. Next, we need to set this field. So if response and response dot status 200, then set PO fields data dot PO fields. Let's check this response again here. PO fields and PO item fields. Set PO item fields. Now save this file. Come to Chrome, refresh page, open DevTool, open network tab. To call this API, so again use effect, get form fields, save it, refresh page, Now we can get refresh page. Orders. Okay, the API is wrong. It's a purchase order here. Copy it, paste it, paste page. Now I can get the field here. Next, we need to render this field in our form here. So come back to VS Code and let's create one more thing, is how I can get this field names. So in the utils helper, creating export most get form type equal to return select checkbox and text area JSON, then file. Now save this file and let's use it. So here also do one more thing. Here we need a form provider. So form provider, which is coming from the Jack hook form. Add this thing. Also getting the form. Let's format the document. After that, to use the methods of the form. Most methods equal to use form, use form. After that, provider passing these methods. Next, save this file. Check back to Chrome. So the thing is fine. Next, we need to render our fields. So what I can do here, purchase order details. After that, I'm gonna create a grid. Then container spacing 2. So next we have our PO fields. Let me import it. Const field type set field type equal to use state field. Let me check get form type. Get form type. So here what I can do, field type dot map field. Then we need to render another thing, which is our PO fields. So PO fields dot map field 1 item 1 PO field. Then we need to pass the field name. So PO field will be like, if I see PO field, if you see PO field, it has PO field with text, select, and other things. So what I can do, I'm going to render my first field type, then the field type all items I'm going to render like First it will run to select the text. So it will do what? PO field, then text dot map method. So it will do what? PO field dot text map method. PO field select map method. So in that way it will run the loop. So after that, grade item access 6, LG make it 3, MD make it 4, E index 1, SM make it 6, access make it 12. Now here instead of this, return a simple typography right now. Field 1 dot name. Just simple return the message. So save it back to Chrome. It is showing error. So field type. Let me put field type. Okay, it should be response dot data dot PO fields, because our data is inside the data dot PO fields. The response to data is the default response, and inside the data give the PO fields and other things. Now save it back to Chrome, refresh page, and you can see all the items is showing right now. Let's do one thing. Read item access and the why it is saying like this. Grid container, grid item. Okay, do one thing. Instead of this, let's try to use text field. Label field 1 dot label dot name. Save it, import it, text field, save it back to Chrome, press page. Now it is saying like each by line by line. Let me see what happens. Okay, it should be grid container, not contain. Save it back to Chrome, press page. Now you can see I can get my form items perfectly with all the fields. Next, we have to do some more things. Instead of turning text field, let's create a separate component which will render our field based on the input type. So let me do this thing also. So I'm going to create one common component that will handle all the types of inputs in our code. So let me do this thing. Go back to VS Code and create one common component which will handle all the inputs. So common input component .js const common input component in the field port default common input component. Now here return. So here return, then adding field dot, let me show something. If field dot type equal to text, then in that case I can return the text input. So I just do what? Copy this text component, this text field, copy it, return it, And let's add the register which is from this data register and errors. All the things defined. Next, I have other thing field.select. So field.select. So for this, I'm going to do but use the select component. Use this select component. This for select. Then I have field.type checkbox. So for checkbox, come to the checkbox component. Checkbox switch component. Just use this switch component. Then I have field.type. Field.type equal to text area. In that case, I can turn the text area. In that case, I can return the text area component. This one, turn it, copy it, paste it. If field.type equal to JSON, then in that case, I can turn the JSON input component. JSON input component. Let me copy this from here. JSON component. And the end, I can return simply h2 field not found. So I just create a common method which will return the data based on the requirement. Let me to complete add value. Take it from here. Use form context. Import it. Text field import it. After that, watch. Take it from here. Next, I have form control label. Form control label. Import it. Which import it. All the thing has been imported. Let's try to format this page. Format document. Now save this file and render this as a our component in the purchase order. So here, remove this thing. Simply command input component and pass field equal to field 1. Let's import it. Common input component. Now save this file. Back to post Chrome. This page. And if I check, you can see it's showing our value, it's showing LOV, it's showing text field, and all the things are showing right now. After that, here do some important things. Like here, this drop down is not seen perfectly. So what I can do, I need to add some margin. So let's margin top 2. Now it is perfectly aligned. After that, additional it is need to become in the new line. So what I can do, field one dot name equal to additional details, then or using this way, use a simple approach. If field one dot name equal to additional details, make it 12, otherwise make it 3. Copy it, and here make it 12 or 4, or here make it 12 or 6. Now save it. If I check again, back to Chrome, now you can see additional details comes in a new line. So that is fine. I can enter the other fields and I can enter this additional details. Also, let's fix this date field. Like if there is date, I can see the date field. So for this, what I have to do, here in the text, need to add one more logic. Field dot, or I can say is date in field. Then in that case, I can return a date field. Let's copy this. I can return a date field as is date time in field. Then I can return the date time field, or in the else I can return a simple text field. Now here, what I do, here simply I need to add a type date local. Here I add type date time local. Now save it, back to Chrome, refresh page. You see here right now, showing pure date, then expected delivery date. Here, try to move this thing below. Here we need to add one more thing. Input level props string true. Copy it, paste it also here. Now save it, back to Chrome, refresh page. There is some overlapping issue. If you didn't do this thing, the pure date will get overlapped to the date thing. That we need to handle with via input prop things. Now you can see I have a date input also. If I click on it, I can take the date input also. That is fine, I think. So I will enter the pure details, additional details. Next, we need to work with our PO order, purchase order products. Also here we need to add the supplier ID, so that what I can do, instead of using supplier ID as an input, we do some other things. So what I can do in the supplier ID, here I'm going to use my component which we created earlier, like manage user and manage product. So for the supplier, what I have to do, const supplier email, get supplier email, const supplier ID, set supplier ID. Then what I can do here, let me show something. So here in the condition, I can do one more thing. Field one dot name supplier ID. Then here I can show a segment. Else I can show this other things. Message. Now field supplier will equal to blank. Then show a button. select supplier, else I can show the supplier. So that save it, and here you can input type hidden, name equal to supplier ID. Let's copy the supplier ID and register. Supplier ID. It should be methods dot register supplier ID, input type hidden supplier ID, and value will be supplier ID. Now save it, back to Chrome. It is showing a large button. Let's check it. It should be inside the grid. It's editor grid. 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 Item access 12 LG3 MD4 and SM equal to 6. Save it, back to Chrome. Make it a full width and also SX MD2. Save it. It's perfect. Next, we need to work on this button. So I'm selecting to show a select supplier option. So for it, what I can do, I have to use a approach of a previously created component. So let me show you. So first, open, select supplier, first, open, select product. So what I can do, I'm clicking this button, type button on click, that, then select supplier. Let's create a dialog. So here just create a dialog. Open select supplier on close, max width equal to LG. Then dialog content, and here we're going to render our manage user page. So that is the important thing, and that is the advantage of using React. So I can use what? I can use my manage user page to render our component, and here on supplier select, I can get the data of selected supplier. Data set supplier ID, data dot ID, set supplier email, data dot email. So that is the advantage things of using React. I can render the component and I can get the data. Let me show you. So save it, back to Chrome, trace page. If I click on select supplier, I can see the user page here. We need to add a button for selecting the supplier. I have to remove this message, and also let me show you. So if I pass this data in the manage user, let me show you. If I pass it, I can do what? I need to add some filter field also. Need to use it here on supplier select pass. I can do what? I can use role passing as a supplier. So previously, if you see, I can get all the user, different kinds of user, but I want only supplier. So role supplier is empty. After that, we need to add a button for selecting the supplier. So here on supplier select, make it 150. So I can show a button also here. Icon button. Icon button. Add icon. And on click, I need to call on supplier select and pass the params dot row dot params dot row. And after that, next I need to do what? Here, if I scroll down, I can remove this breadcrumb because that is not required right now. So not on supplier select, not selected. Then show this data. Now save it, and here we can add typography. Select supplier and divider. Now save it back to Chrome, and if you see this time it is showing only select supplier and the other things are gone. And if I come with my manage user page, I can see the page as it is, so I can use it here. Also this button only show on the same, not in this page. So in the manage user, the button will show only for this on supplier select, and so this button will show only for this condition. Save it. Now it is showing the permission and other things. And if I see this thing with my create purchase order, selecting the supplier, I can see as an add. And if I click on it, I can set it. But after clicking, we need to hide this model. So here, setting the user, set open, select supplier, pause, save it to Chrome, refresh page, again try, select supplier, select it, and you can see it is fine. Let's say correct this format. So here, after selecting margin, it normal. I think margin normal not working. So using SX MT3, save it. Now it's fine. So here I can see the supplier which is selected. Now after that, we need to work with add product. So what I can do here, for the purchase order items, here getting a method get PO items. Let's create a separate method here. Once get PO items, return. Uh, Again here we need PO item. So what I can do here, I'm going to get one more item. Post PO items, set PO items, and after that, like after giving the response or after getting the response, so I can do what? Uh, let's return this for now as the h1 empty. Next, we need to show a select product page. So for this, let me show you. So after that, on add product, on click, let open select product 2, and again same copy this dialog, copy it, paste it. This time change with open select product, let open select product, and here move this select product, and here show a component which is manage product. Now save it back to Chrome, and this time let me check face page, click on add product, and you can see the product page. Next we need to modify this page also. So let's do what? Select product, data, or let's use on product selected. Let's create a method const data console.log data set on product false. So copy this. Let's come to this method on manage product, taking as a prox input. So here what I can do, first I have to remove this message. So here if not, then show the breadcrumb. After that, that is fine, and we have a button on add click. So this add click will do what? If product selected, I can do selected the product and return. Now save it back to Chrome. Now if I select the product, I can select the product and go back. I see the console. Again select the product. If I see the response, let's clear it, paste the page, and product select, product, comma, select the product, and you can see I can get our product on selection. On the create purchase order, I can get the product. That is fine. Next, we need to show this product in our items. So do what? Set PO items, PO items. Here set is like product underscore ID, data ID, name dot name, quantity order, ordered one. Let's check the field names. So PO fields, close it. Product ID, I can get the ID. Then product name is okay for showing the name. Quantity ordered, use this quantity ordered. Then I have buying price. The buying price I am getting, the value is initial buying price. Then I have selling price. Selling price, data dot selling price. Now everything is perfect. Save this file. And we have to render these PO items inside these PO items. So PO items dot map item index. Inside that I have to render my field type. So field type dot map field field type of field T index 2, and you can use the PO fields, PO item fields, field T dot map field index 3. Here make sure the index will be different, otherwise it will get some issue on rendering side. Again using the common input component field equal to field. Now all the things perfect. Save it. Back to Chrome. Refresh page. Click on add product. And you can see the product details like this. But I don't want to show like this. I want to show in a different way. Also here add some margin between these additional details. So what I can do in the JSON component, it's an input component. Here the 6 ml1 r1 here, here. Save it. Now it is fine for additional details. So here the product items I don't want to show in a this way. Instead of this, I want to show the data in table. So what I can do, So here, instead of showing this way, let's show in a table. Let's show in a table here. What I can do first, let's get a table. Table head, table row. Then we need to show our table items. So again, what I can do, field type dot map item index. Here I can show the title of that each field. So PO item fields item dot map field and index 2. Here I can show the table sale for showing this pattern. Field dot label, and here key equal to field dot name. Now all things perfect. Yeah, that is fine. I think that is fine. I think now save this file back to Chrome, and you can see this table thing here. Let's do one thing, make it this table responsive. So what I can do here, table container and component equal to paper sx equal to white base. Now wrap close this table container here, and this PO item will render inside the PO body. So table body, here we're going to render these PO items. After that, here we can also add a sticky header. Now save it back to Chrome. If I see this time, you can see this page is looking like that. So let's fix this also, this child item. So the get PO items. Here the items will be first rendered in the table row. Close this table row below here. Then after that, table row, we can show as a table sale for each item. So table sale, cut it, paste it here, save it. Now let's check to Chrome. Now it is looking perfect than previous one, but here do some important things. I don't want to show the addition details here. I want to show a button here. So what I can do, field dot name or field dot label equal to additional details to a button. additional details. Let's show this common input. Now save it. Variant contained color primary. Save it. Back to Chrome. Now it is perfect. Let's make it a little bit size large. So what I can do here in the common component, also taking the input sx. So I can show the sx here. sx, 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 and here sx. Also adding sx here. Add it here. Save it. After that, here passing sx with 50, or maybe I can pass 200. Save it. Back to Chrome. You can see it is looking much better than previous one. Now it is fine. If I select more product, I can see the more product, but right now there is no value saying. So let's show this value, and also let's create two buttons here, save and create. So after that, table, create a box, justify content space between, and display flex. So that adding the buttons, button, save, draft, then create purchase order, create purchase order, variant, content, color primary, this thing, and copy it, paste it also here, save it, make it full width, copy it, full width, paste it here, save it, back to Chrome. Now if I see, you can see the button. Let's add some margin. So empty 2. Let's use S6. Margin top 2. Save it. Now it is fine. Also adding some padding between the button. So S6, margin 2. Copy it. Paste it. Now it's perfect. Save draft and create purchase order. So also adding the icon, start icon, save, start icon, check circle. Now save it, back to Chrome. and I can see the icon, get purchase order, saved up. Also add icon here. So in the add product, start icon, add icon, save it to Chrome. Now it is looking perfect. Add product, save drop, and get purchase order. So the thing is perfect. Right now, let's show this value from here. Now after that, let's render this value here. So first, come to VS Code and in the get PO items. Here, what I can do, return this item, so I can use curly braces instead of bracket, just because I can render the item and do some operation here. So what I can do here, let temp field equal to temp field equal to field, then temp field default to item item temp field dot name. So I can get the value and set the default value, then return it. Save it back to Chrome. Refresh page. Select the product. Now I see not getting the value. Okay, and to pass temp field here. Now save it. Refresh the page again. Add product again. And now you can see I can get the product ID, quantity order, time price, and selling price. Even I select some different product, like the second one has price 25. If I select this, okay, is not getting changed. It's taking the same value. So let me see. Okay, right now the name between both are same. So we have to do a different name for each item. So for that, what I can use, I use simple temp field name equal to. So I can use the name key like this way. Item. If you remember last time, we need only items in our post method. So in our post method, if you remember, I need to pass items. That's why I'm taking the items. Then we need to pass the index. So dollar passing the index, which is index, this one, this index. Then we need to pass our key name. So our key name will be dot dollar m field dot name. Now save it back to Chrome, refresh page, and if I see again, click on add product, select this product, I can see it. Select the second product, I can see it. Both are showing different value. So previously the name will getting same, and previously the name is getting same, and the value is getting different. So previously the name is getting same, that's why we're getting the same value. Right now we difference the name. Now after that, let's show the SKU and product name. So here, what I can do, table sale, product, name. For product name, we can do with ID or just leave it, or just use SQ. SQ here, the first one in the child item or table items, get view items. Here, what I can do, uh, let's format this document first. So here, what I can do, if I'm getting filled dot label, here I'm using label just because our name getting changed. So product ID, in that case, I can use a typography variant body 2, and here I'm showing this value item dot product underscore name, and the first cell here, the cell first cell I'm going to return table cell. Here I'm going to return item dot sq. Check here sq data dot sq. Here it should be sq. Now save it back to Chrome and refresh page. Let's check again it's working or not. Add product, select it. You can see the SQ, product ID is showing product name, and that is fine. Also, I need to show a hidden field for our product ID. Here, input type hidden, name equal to equal to temp field dot name, value equal to temp field dot or value equal to item dot product underscore ID. After that, register register register, passing the product underscore ID. Product ID, or you can say temp field dot name. Close this input. The register is not defined. Check. Okay, it should be methods dot register. Now save it, save it, save it. Refresh page. I check again. Try to set the product 27. can see the details, and if I inspect it here, if I see I'm getting the product and the value is what is going to show as a 7. So that is fine also. After that, if I select again new product, that is showing also. Next we need to work on save and get purchase order. So we need to pass a different value for the different buttons. So for that, what I can do, and also we need to work on one more thing. Next we need to work on this additional details. If I click on additional details, I can show a pop-up which will take the additional details as an input. So what I can do, const 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 open add additional details, copy it, set open add additional details equal to false, uh, use state false. After that, const selected view item index, then set selected view item index equal to use state null. So what I can do, just scroll down on add button, click add additional details on click. I'm gonna show set open additional details to set selected view item index and pass in the index, which is the parent index, this one. Now after that, let's create a dialog again. So again, scroll down, this is the dialog, copy it, paste it. This time I'm changing with my this with additional details and use our additional details, which is JSON component, and after that use it fields equal to label additional details and type JSON name equal to items, then selected PO index, selected PO item index, selected PO item index dot additional underscore details, additional PO item items, selected PO item index, additional details. After that, we have to pass the default value. So default will be default will be, we have to pass the default value, which is watch. Watch should be used by React hook form, so you can use this way also. Methods dot watch, and again passing the same key, this one, complete, pass it inside the watch, close the JSON input component. Now save it and let's check. it's working or not. So back to Chrome, refresh page, open add product. Okay, I think it is showing on the wrong button. It should be open, add incentives, set, open, add incentives. To Chrome, refresh page, add product, select the product, and if I go to incentives, I can see the incentives, adding test, paste, paste 2, paste 2, close it, run it again. I can see it. Also here, don't need this thing, remove it. And here if you see, it is showing multiple times. Even I added only 2 times, but it is showing 4 times. Just because I have to do one changes on the JSON input component. Here if you see, I am taking always as a empty data. So I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna remove it and set it only if there is no default value. Then so set key value pairs this data. If there is already a data, I don't want to show an empty string or set an empty string. Now save it, back to Chrome, refresh page, and let's check it. It's working fine or not. Add product, select it. If I check additional test, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, close it, open it again, and you can see this is fine. When I can add second item, and if I try to open this one, it has different value. So that is working fine. Let's check again. 11. That is fine. After that, even I think I can show up close button on this here. Box, justify content, center, display flex, addition, typography, additional details, variant, h5, adding a close button, close, one click, set, open, additional details, false, save it, back to Chrome, again try to click on it. Now it is showing additional details, but look ugly. Let's move this thing inside the dialog content. Save it. Now let's check. Display flex, justify content, space between. Save it. I click on it, getting close, adding a divider again. I try again. You can see it's fine. This is also fine. You can see the both alternatives has different values. After that, let's try to work on these two buttons, which has separate actions on each button. If you click on save, it will work with different. If you click on create, it will work with different things. So let me show you how I can do this thing. So for that, and also do one more thing. If you see here, gaming console is already there. And if I try to add the gaming console, what happened? It's getting added. So I want to show a message. So how you can show this message? So here, if the item is already there, and even I try to again add it. So if you items dot filter item 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 dot product id equal to data dot id dot length greater than 0, I can return a message toast dot error product already added. Return it. Save it back to Chrome. Try to edit again. Gaming console. You can see I'm getting product already added. Now that is fine. After that, there do other things also. In the create purchase order, so right button also, the typography box, display flex, justify content, space between icon button, close on click, set open, select product, false, copy it, also pasting in this here. The reason for doing it just because in the responsive device, I think we don't click outside, so we can't close this thing or model. That's why I added a button also. Now save it and let's check. So it is fine, I think right now all the things perfect. Next, let's work with save and create. So for that, what I can do in this form, I'm gonna add an input hidden button, input type hidden, then name it to status dot methods dot register status. After that, everything is perfect. On clicking this button, I'm gonna do the action. So here scroll up. On click, create create order draft create order. I think I can add one more status in the model, the backend side. So we have draft. Also, we want to add a status created. So for that, I think I can add one more status to the backend order services model draft. Then I can add created, copy this thing, and also add it here. Created. Now save it. Save it. Back to the code. Draft and created. Let's create this method. Create this method. So const create order status set value dot set value status. After that, I can do what? If status equal to top, here what I can do, methods dot clear errors, then methods dot trigger, and after that finally I can submit the form. So methods dot handle submit and on submit. Let's call it. So let's create a method on submit also. Const on submit equal to data console.log data. Save it and let's check what we are getting. So refresh page, come to console. Refresh the page again and check it. It's working on. So first select in the warehouse. Now try to create the purchase order. Okay, I got the issue. I already added a filter. That's why I'm not going to see anything. Clear it. Now add product. So previously it is also fine, I think, but I added a filter method. That's why it is not fine. So right now, I check again. Adding additional details. 1, 2, 3, 4. Add a new product. Now clear it and try to create a purchase order. And you can see I can get my whole data. You can get the complete form details and I can get the items. We have also additional details. So that is fine, I think. It is working fine. We need to save this data on our API and I'm getting created also. Okay. Create order. Okay, here it should be status and created. Now we need to call the API. So what I can do? Let response to await, make it async, and here call API URL, copying this same URL, or just copy the same, method post body to pass the data with response dot status equal to 201. I can show a message post dot success response dot data dot message, and also here adding some logic again. Set so set your items, make it empty array, then set selected supplier, set selected supplier, set supplier email blank, set supplier ID blank, and after that methods dot is set. Now all the thing is done. Also adding some logic here. If supplier, if not watch supplier ID is not filled, then I can show a message methods dot watch. There is no supplier ID. In that case, I can show a message post dot error. Please select supplier. Also, if there is no product items, so if there is no items or watch items dot length equal to 0, please select at least one product. Methods dot watch. Save it, back to Chrome, try it again, network tab, clear it, click on get purchase order, and you can see our order has been created and it's working fine. I can successfully create my order. If I check with purchase order, I have a new order, PO code, all the details I have done, it is saved successfully. If I check purchase order items. That is also fine. I'm getting the complete data. If I check log, you can see the order status is created. Here let's add one more thing which is missing. Need to add a delete button so we can delete the product from here. So what I can do, come to VS Code and let's add an action. So in the table SQ, add an action here in top, and also let's add an action in our items. So here adding a button icon button button, adding a delete icon. So delete, one click, delete item and passing the index. Let's copy it, create a method const delete item index. Then after that, new items dot filters not equal to, then set PO items, So here what I can do, let items equal to method watch items dot filter, then set value items. Now save it. Let's check again it's working or not. So refresh page, then collecting the data. Then deleting the earbuds. Now try to create purchase order. Create purchase order. Create purchase order. Two, 4, 5. Try to create the purchase order again. If I check the product, now it is taking the 2 items. That is perfect. But here I'm getting cannot what is the status. Let me check. Okay, it is showing error here. So let's add a condition. On form submit, save it. Now it is perfect. But here if I didn't select the supplier, okay, I need to return a message. Return it. Save it. Try it again. Try it again. Now please select supplier. Selecting the supplier. This time if I click on create purchase order, and it is done. Our form is working, and we can see the items also, which has only 2 items. So our delete method is also working for the items. So that's it. We created an API for purchase order. We can use a common API or common dynamic field to render our purchase order fields. Then we can use this API to create a form in the front end. Then we can integrate our API for the saving of purchase order. So I've done all the things in this tutorial. So I hope you like the video. Thanks for watching. Please like our video and please subscribe our channel. And if you have any question, please do comment.